Hello mga kumeta. Kumusta naman kayo dyan? Kumusta naman kayo dyan? Ako ginagamit itong earphones natin na wala eh. From work duties, dito naman tayo straight to family duties. Ayan. Kaya, sorry na, wala nang time na bumalik sa bahay. Gumawa na straight to the point na vlog katulad ng ginagawa natin. Let me just go back dun sa mga ibang issues natin na natalakayan namin. Yan yung kakayan namin kanina. Dun sa forum na meron tayo. Just to put things in perspective, we just marked the 7th anniversary ng ating arbitration award na nanalo tayo ng 2016. I know na marami dyan na skeptical or unfortunately misinformed. Salamat dun sa lang story ni Richard Clooney, mga ganyan types. Okay. Marami mga misinformed dyan. Marami unfortunately hindi nakaka-appreciate ng value ng itong arbitration award natin. So, by annually commemorating itong arbitration award, nire-remind natin sa buong mundo na, including dito sa ating mga kababayan, na gaano ka mahalaga, no? Itong arbitration award natin. Dahil nga, dito talaga napakita natin na beyond reasonable doubt, walang basihan yung mga claims ng China. No? Ang claims dyan sa West Philippine Sea ay hindi sang-ayon sa ligang batas, particularly international law. Now, obviously, familiar tayo. Paulit-ulit na itong argument ng mga pro-China elements, mga tatay elements, pro-tatay elements na, wala naman sa isa yan, wala hindi naman mga yan, yung mga ganyan bagay. Well, guess what? Let me talk about this here, no? Unang-una, pansin nyo, yung mga henyo dyan. Ito yung mga henyo na nakabilib sa Russia, nang susugod ng Russia at excited na sila manalong Russia, hindi alam, mabugbog ng yung mga dulo na yan. Nung sumunod sila sa Ukraine. Ito, wag na kayo makinig din sa mga palang kwenta ng mga dyan. Pa-vlogger, pa-expert dyan na walang alam. Alright? Ito, unang-una, kung nag-aral kayo ng mabuti or napansin nyo, ang China hindi na ginagamit ng term na 9-dash line. Parati nila ginagamit yan before mag-digitize ng award natin. Ngayon, hindi na ginagamit ng mga Chino, itong 9-dash line na yan. Dahil alam nila, na JAPEX, itong 9-dash line nila, na hindi ito sa international law. Alam nila, it's a big joke. Malaking kalokohan lang po yung claim nila ng 9-dash line. That was proven very much by the international court, which brings to the second issue. Ito na naman mga fake news argument, hindi ito on clause, hindi natin ito international. Excuse me. This was under Article 287, Annex 7, under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, and it's a compulsory arbitration proceedings, meaning hindi kailangan yung consent ng China because to begin with, hindi ito concerning territorial claims, ito yung concerning maritime claims. So napakagaling at talino yung mga nag-isip ng itong arbitration award yan, which I believe na not only me, but many other experts were initially very skeptical of. So God bless them, and God bless the soul of people like Albert de Rosario. God bless the soul of President Aquino. President Aquino was not perfect. Marami siyang kakulangan. We can talk about kasapan, etc. Lack of inclusive development. But God bless their soul. At least when nabuli tayo, they fought back. And this brings me to the third issue. Yung ating arbitration award ay may ambag sa buong mundo, hindi lang sa Pilipinas. Kaya again, doon sa mga hindi nagbabasa, doon sa mga henyo dyan na wala na sa international affairs, itong sasabihin ko, even yung mga kapitbahay natin, no? Katulad ng Vietnam, katulad ng Malaysia, katulad even ng Indonesia na hindi naman may kinalaman directly sa West Philippines disputes, pati sila ginagamit nila yung ating arbitration award dahil doon nila na-question yung mga bullying na nangyari sa kanila. So for instance, I'll give you an example. Malaysia ay nag-push for extended continental shelf in December 2019 and they were inspired by our arbitration case to push for their claims doon sa loob ng South China Sea. More than that, nag-threaten ng both Vietnam and Malaysia ng arbitration case against China by invoking the Philippine case. Kaya nga, galit ng China sa alam nila, we potentially open the floodgates. Not to mention, even Indonesia, na walang directly may kinalaman dito sa South China Sea dahil yung 9-dash lang ng China, napakalaki, napakamalawak, at napakasabog because hindi natin alam yung exact coordinates yan. Nag-overlap na ito dun sa North Natuna Sea claims ng Indonesia, no? Kaya ang Indonesia ngayon, ini-invoke na rin yung on clause at ating arbitration award para depensahan yung kanilang interest. Ang laki ng ginawa natin para sa ating mga kapitbahay. Not to mention, At dito, number 4, ito yung pinaka-ironic case na meron tayo before. We had a situation whereby yung sarili ating presidente slash mayor, si Mayor Digong, siya mismo, ina-undermine niya yung gain natin. At siya mismo ay nagpapatalo sa position natin. Instead of leveraging that, no one is asking for war. Hindi naman ginera ng China ang ating administration after all those years of diplomatically criticizing them, initiating arbitration. No. Dapat sana na-leverage yung Digong yan, i-threaten niya na you will push for more arbitration, etc. Give us something. Wala, hindi niya ginawa eh. Immediately, talking points na, alam niyo na saan galing, di ba? Itong si Mayor. So you undermine their position. But in spite of that, you had a very bizarre but encouraging situation whereby yung mga ibang bansa ay nag-step in. So totoo na hindi mo pwedeng, puntahan yung China at ipakulong sila kung hindi sila sumunod. Of course, this is international law. China is a sovereign state. But, ito mahalaga, mga ka-Amerika. Ang Amerika po ay nag-expand na kanilang freedom of navigation operation dyan sa West Philippine Sea. Ang mga Europeo, sorry about that. Okay. Ang mga Europeo ay nagpadala ng mga taga-Pransa, taga-United Kingdom, saan sila nagpadala ng kanilang mga barko dyan. Not directly challenging China, but indirectly at least China or emphasizing the importance of international law. You can also see that dun sa joint first ever note verbal ng France, UK, and Germany dyan sa United Nations, emphasizing finality of Philippine arbitration award. Now, Japan din, pati India recently. So just the other week, mga kameta, nagkaroon ng bilateral consultative dialogue between the Philippines and India. And for the first time, pati India, isa pang higanteng bansa na hindi tuta ng Western countries, a napaka-independent power country, under Modi, a very non-aligned country, pati yung India ay nag-support na dito sa Pilipinas. At sinabi niya, itong arbitration award natin is binding, and dapat comply ang China. At yung India po ay nagpapatalag na rin ng mga naval, vessels, etc. dito sa West Philippine Sea, dito sa region natin, para magpakita rin ng commitment nila to a rules-based international order. Now, none of these powers are perfect themselves. A lot of them, like European powers, like US, they have a horrible history, including Japan, imperial Japan history. But we're talking about 2023, mga kameta. Not 1903. Not 1980s. Not 1960s. Alright? Pinag-usapan natin 2023. Sino ang nagbubuli sa Pilipinas sa 2023? Hindi po ang Pilipinas. Hindi po ang Amerika nagbubuli sa atin sa West Philippine Sea. Hindi po ang Amerika ay gusto sumugot sa Taiwan. Maraming kasalanan ng Amerika sa maraming bagay. No question about it. Pero hindi sila yung kalaban natin. Hindi rin natin kalaban ngayon Japan. Which brings me to issue number 5. Itong doctrine nila Digong at na copy-paste nila BBM na sinasabi friends to all, enemy to none. Sa palagay ko, to be honest, mas pang-tourism yan na logo. May pang-tourism yan kaysa geopolitics or foreign policy. Dahil paano ka naman maging kaibigan ng mga bansa na hindi nag-act bilang kaibigan? Mga bansa na binubuli yung ating mga maista. Mga bansa na kinukuha yung ating mga resources dyan sa ating karagatan. Yung mga bansa na gumagawa ng mga military facilities well within the Philippines Exclusive Economic Zone. Diyan sa Kalayaan Group of Islands among others. Mga bansa na nagpapadala ng militia force na muntik, kinalunod, or nilunod yung ating mga yung ating mga mangingisda doon sa Denver. So, to be honest, itong sinasabi ng friends to all enemy to none, gamitin na lang ng Department of Tourism yan, okay? Hindi yan pwede pang DFA or DND, okay? Ayusin natin yan. Which brings me to the last issue, mga kameta. This is not about being pro-US or pro-China. Ang Estados Unidos ay isang superpower, may sariling pag-isip. Ang China po ay isang superpower, may sariling pag-isip. Hindi sila pareho, yung isa threat sa atin sa West Philippines, yung isa hindi. Yung isa treaty ally natin, yung isa hindi. But at the end of the day, and this is where I'm sick and tired of, pro-US, pro-China? No, pro-Philippines. And you know what's the best way to be pro-Philippines? We build strong alliances with other countries na hindi superpower or hindi pa superpower. India, napakamalaga. Rising power yan. Pinakamalaking bansa in terms of population. Maraming kakayahan. Tinutulungan tayo. Binigyan tayo ng Ramos systems. They're a long-term partner we can look at. Australia, Japan, South Korea, France, Britain. Maraming bansa dyan na Hindi superpower, pero similar yung pag-iisip. Ayaw nila na maging tuta ng Amerika, ayaw rin nila mabuli sa China. At of course, yung iba naman talaga kagyera na nilang Russia, no? So we want to go beyond that. And we want to go beyond that. And that's where, let me end on this point. So kanina yung event, dun sa arbitration anniversary, 7th arbitration anniversary. Medyo naging emotional tayo because first of all, andun yung mga ibang tao na malaking contribution at binabastos lang sila throughout the years ng tatay. I'm talking about Justice Scarpio, among others, no? A patriotic person, a brilliant legal mind. Nagmamahal sa bayan natin. Tapos for 6 years, tinitroll siya. But now, there's a moment of vindication. We have a president in BBM. He's a Marcos, but at least on this issue, he stands with international law. He stands with he's on the right side of history, And then, of course, Albert De Rosario, former foreign secretary natin. I had some disagreements with the Philippine administration back then. I pointed them out. But my point is, God bless his soul, he was tough enough, brave enough, courageous enough to push the envelope. Arbitration award through. And now, it gives us some sort of leverage. Now, unfortunately, naging presidente natin in 2016 was mayor style. But now, at least meron kang president na nag-appreciate ng mga nitty-gritties and at least niceties of international law. So, mahalaga yan. And let me say this. I'm also glad to know and glad to say with confidence na hindi naging sila Justice Scarpio, sila Albert De Rosario, God bless his soul, sila Pinoy. Because maraming Pilipino ang nagsuporta dito sa ating advocacy, at hikain para sa West Philippine Sea. I'm very proud of that. I'm very happy about that. This was a collective effort. Not one person, not just Rappler or not just this person. All of us contributed to resisting the worst instincts of the previous mayor president, right? Second, we're also talking about revival. Revival in the terms of U.S.-Philippine alliance. Again, I have many, many issues about U.S. past, what U.S. did to us, anong kakulangan sa alyansa natin, given na yan. But the war in Ukraine also showed to us that kung wala kang superpower ally, and parap mo isang bully na superpower, medyo alanganin ka. So, that's why Ukraine is desperado to join NATO, right? Connect the dots yourself. Number 3. And this is where it's important. Katulad ng sinabi ko, dapat di lang tayo umaasa sa Amerika. Amerika po ay maraming obligasyon, maraming allies, maraming problema all around the world dahil superpower sila. From Persian Gulf to Ukraine, to South China Sea, to Latin America, to Sub-Saharan Africa, lahat yan hawak ng maraming interes sa mga Amerika. They're overstretched. They're all over the place, literally. No? So, hindi tayo pwede umasa na dito lang focus sa atin yung mga isang aliado natin. Kaya nga dapat mag-reach out tayo. And that's why I said, we need a revolutionary foreign policy. We have to reach out to more and more powers na like-minded sa atin. Korea, Japan, India especially. Ito yung mga country na non-aligned. No? Indonesia, no? Very interesting country na may kakayan. We have to work with this, including, of course, our European allies among others. No? Because the more networks of allies and partners we have, the less dependent we are on the United States, the better position we are. We are in a better position to strengthen our capabilities, to move in the right direction. And at the same time, of course, that gives us an ability to develop yung ating kakayahan para may deterrence tayo. Kasi hindi tayo respetuhin ng China or yung mga ibang bansa dyan kung wala tayong basics na capabilities, very basic na capabilities. Kasama dyan yung kumuha ng best possible fighter jets, best possible weapon system, but more than that, have an economy that is diversified, get investors from different sides of the world, ensured not to be dependent on China, but also not to be relying just on the US to defend the Philippines. Because may limitasyon din ang US. Ang US hindi makakatulong sa atin pagdating sa trade masyado, because napaka-protectionist na Amerika ngayon. But there are options with Europe. There are options with other countries all around the world. And as I said, there's rising Korea, there's rising India. Japan is still a force to reckon with. There's also Australia there, a country that we share a lot with, but we haven't developed a bilateral relationship to the level that it should be moving towards, no? But that's it. That's it, mga kameta. Yun talaga yung kailangan talaga natin, no? And I'm glad now, whenever we give this intervention, these talks, I'll post link to that, etc. Sa baba pwede nyo check. I'm glad that we have friends from the DFA, people working in the government. I know that deep inside, and some of this more than deep inside, quite openly, they appreciate where we're coming from. And I'm very glad about it. And I'm also glad that, even in our podcast, not to mention my show, nakausap natin mga katulad ni Ambassador Romualdez, who's playing very influential role in Philippine foreign policy today, and even probably even more influential down the road. Alright? So yun lang sinasabi ko. Go lang tayo. Tingnan nyo, I can just walk here, no notes, nothing sinasabi nyo, because galing yan sa loob. Galing yan dito. Alright? I'm very proud to know that after 6 years of being gaslighted, I think nakakainis talaga, no? Yung dati kung ikaw ikaw nagsasabi na dapat palaban tayo, dapat depensahan natin yung interest. Common sense, basics, basic patriotism. So, warmonger mga yan. Ay, ano lang, pahamak lang mga yan, mga ganyan. 6 years kinaslight tayo. 6 years. Pro-China, pro-US ang mga yan. Excuse me. Yan yung mga pro-China ay nag-gaslight ng iba para palusot doon sa kanilang... Anyway, I am for good relationship with China. But a relationship that is based on mutuality. Dapat i-respeto yung mga basic rights natin, basic sovereign interests natin. Dapat totoo yung kanilang mga promise. Nasaan yung mga billions of dollars of investment na sinasabi ng tatay diba? Ha? Nasaan? Amateur sila eh. Amateur. Tapos yung mga vloggers sila. Kunyari pang expert pa sa geopolitics, zero serious publication. Check all of yung vloggers ni tatay. Alright? Punta kayo sa Google Scholar, tingnan niyo ilang mga ibang scholars na nag-cite sa kanila. Alright? As an expert. Parang zero yata, or maybe, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Alright? That's what I'm talking about here. So, I know na pagdating sa foreign policy or South China Sea issue or West Philippine Sea, pwede natin sabihin, malayo yan, elite issue yan, policy. But no. This is about the basics. This is about being a Filipino. Because if you're not willing to fight for the very basics, then anong klaseng bansa tayo? Diba? And, at least, hindi na tatay style yung presidente natin. I'm not a fan of the current president. I have some issues with him. I still want a lot of things to be fixed and be dealt with. But at the very least, no? Yung mga basics, medyo we're moving in the right direction. And I think that's a moral vindication and hopefully also a strategic victory and vindication for us, for everyone who fought for the West Philippine Sea. I'm so proud of what we have achieved. 10 years ago, barely anyone knew about West Philippine Sea. Now, at least everyone in one way or another medyo familiar dun sa basics. And kailangan tuloy-tuloy yung effort natin to push people to be more and more invested in this. Because yun yung pagkaka-Pilipino natin. I mean, if we're gonna just allow to be bullied right and left, no? Because nabully tayo na 100 years ago, magpabully tayo ulit. Anong klaseng katangan yung pag-iisip na gano'n? No? Kasi ang dami ko narinig ng gano'n. Bakit yung US din ginawa sa atin yun? Bakit Japan din? Bobo ka ba? So, kung ginawa sa atin yun 100 years ago, so okay na gagawin sa atin yan ng iba ngayon, in 2023? Mag-isip naman kayo dyan. Sorry. I'm a nice guy, but sometimes some of this nonsense has to be called out. Alright? I'm sick and tired of this nonsense. It has to be called out. Alright? So, let's call them out. Let's call them out. When they say nonsense like that, we shut them down. Yung mga yan, walang mapakita. Alright? Wala silang mapakita. Alright? No evidence whatsoever that yung kanilang pag-iisip has made any sense, moral sense or strategic sense. Okay? None of us want conflict. None of us want war. But none of us want to be just too tough of another rising power, etc. We have had too much experience of colonialism and oppression for more than half a millennium. Right? Tama na yan. It's time for us to stand on our own, and it's time for us to also not just rely on the US. Go ahead. Build alliances, networks of partnerships. Yun yung kailangan natin ngayon. And it's also time for us to call out nonsense out there, couching itself as pragmatism and realism. No, that's not realism. You know what's realism? Build your own capabilities. Have a wide network of allies. Have a very assertive, proactive diplomacy. Because yun ang ginawa ng Japan bago sila naging powerful. Yun ang ginawa ng Korea bago naging Korea. Yun ang ginagawa ng mga rising powers katulad ng Turkey, Indonesia, India, even Brazil to a certain degree. All of these countries, right? They get the basics. And thank God, I think medyo nag-gets natin yung basics. If si BBM, si Junior, medyo nag-gets natin yung mga basics. So that's a good thing. Let's just move in the right direction. Let's call out the nonsense. Let's fight for the basics for this country. I will always say this again. I want us to have great relations with China. The Chinese culture and civilization, I greatly admire the Chinese culture and civilization. I was based in Taiwan also for quite some time, so, you know what I'm saying? So the Chinese civilization is fantastic. A lot of respect to them. Um, so I really hope we can have a great relationship with them. It has to be based, though, on sincere mutual respect. And yung basics natin, yung basic interest natin, dapat ma-respect. Otherwise, you cannot be friends to people who are not acting like friends to you. And I'm sorry to say this, pero yung friends to all, enemy to none, pang tourism po yan. Hindi yan pang geopolitics. On that note, thank you very much and talk to you